Wang Chen, a graduate who was just about to receive a blessing, was suddenly transported by car to Dou Po World while crossing the road. Born in the Xiao family 4 years before the fire, he became a member of the Xiao family surnamed Wang. At the age of 10, his Golden Finger Enhancement ability appeared. Technique: 10,000 Beasts Transforming Spirit Technique, Enhancement +3, Features. Able to absorb and control thousands of animal fires, enhancing the evolution of skills, and also able to use the innate talents of thousands of beasts. Don't grab the edge of the fire engine. Keywords of the novel. Dou Po Super Enhancement with no pop-ups, Dou Po Super Enhancement TXT Complete Collection Download, Dou Po Super Enhancement Latest Chapter Reading. Chapter 1. Xiao Family Youth Surnamed Wang. Wuhu. Take off. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Xiao Family Youth Surnamed Wang. Wuhu. Take off. Wutan City, the back mountain of the Xiao family. A young man is diligently practicing his fighting skills. Although only 10 years old, his face is resolute and quite mature, completely different from a person of this age. Not bad, he is indeed not an ordinary teenager. He was a traveler who crossed from a place called Blue Star and became one of the 3 major families in Wutan City. The Xiao family, a member of the Wang family. If it were before yesterday, Wang Chen would never have worked so hard. Because his cultivation talent is relatively average, no matter how hard he tries, he can only reach the pinnacle of a martial artist. But now it's different. He awakened his golden finger yesterday. Although the function of the golden finger has not been fully developed yet, relying solely on the already known functions is enough for Wang Chen to take off. The golden finger was named Strengthening by Wang Chen. As long as it consumes mental energy, it can strengthen everything. Although there are certain limitations, the things that must be strengthened belong entirely to Wang Chen. Moreover, he is still a mortal soul, and things can only be strengthened once, not multiple times. But compared to this ability, this limitation is not worth mentioning at all. Strengthening ordinary medicines into imported medicines can directly accelerate the progress of cultivation. For the general public, it is not possible to use drugs that have been introduced without becoming a fighter. Even if there are some special pills, they are not something that Wang Chen can obtain now. But with his golden fingers, the restriction that trapped the vast majority of people was completely useless. Because what has been strengthened is something that belongs to Wang Chen's complete refinement. Swallowing those pills, even if they cannot fully absorb their power, will never cause any harm to oneself. Even those drugs and poisons don't exist. It can be said that with this cheat, Wang Chen can confidently take medicine and upgrade in the future. For Wang Chen, all the side effects of taking medication and upgrading do not exist at all. Of course, Wang Chen is still just a poor person with a little inheritance. However, the drugs for early cultivation are not too expensive. As long as early cultivation starts, Wang Chen will take off like a snowball. After practicing in the back mountain for an hour, Wang Chen didn't waste much time and walked directly towards his room. Due to his own identity, Wang Chen specifically chose a relatively remote place, so he didn't have to worry about being disturbed by others. After returning to the room, Wang Chen took off his shirt and jumped into the bathtub. This is the medicinal bath that Wang Chen cooked yesterday. Qiang Medicinal Liquid, Enhanced +1, Grade. Second grade effect. It can significantly increase the user's physical fitness, enhance qi, blood, and strength. Attention! The best effect is on the qi stage of the dou, followed by the dou, and ineffective on the dou master. The effect can be said to be extremely simple and rough, which was enhanced by Wang Chen using a non-flowing medicinal bath. With just one strengthening, it was elevated to the level of a second-grade pill. In addition, after strengthening with the golden finger, it can be completely absorbed and will not be backfired by drug energy. It can be said that the current Wang Chen is even more exaggerated than the original fire. With such cheats and being 4 years older than Wuhu, Wang Chen didn't worry about the disaster that the Xiao family would suffer in the original plot. At that time, Wang Chen had 100% confidence in responding. After jumping into the bathtub, Wang Chen began to hold his breath and quickly absorb the energy from the medicinal bath. Although he had already experienced it yesterday, he was still very surprised by this feeling. Before Golden Finger awakened, he had also worked hard to cultivate. The feeling of absorbing energy is like constipation. And now with the enhanced medicinal bath of Golden Finger, it's like a jet warrior. I only practiced the chi of the 3-section Dou at the age of 10 before, but now I have only used 2 medicinal baths and directly reached the peak of the chi of the 3-section Dou. Wang Chen is confident that this medicinal bath today will definitely break through to the 4th stage of Douji Qi. As time passed, the deep red medicinal bath gradually became lighter. Click. At that moment, Wang Chen's body seemed to hear the sound of breaking. The original strength of the 3rd stage of Douji Qi has naturally broken through the 4th stage of Douji Qi. After breaking through, Wang Chen jumped up directly, wiped away the moisture, and then moved his hands and feet again. Compared to before, there has indeed been a significant improvement. Of course, Wang Chen knew that this breakthrough was only so obvious because his previous foundation was too poor. But it doesn't matter, as long as the strength is enhanced, it's a good thing. The consumption of medicinal liquid is a bit high. Wang Chen glanced at the bathtub, and the color inside was already quite light. A pair of medicinal liquids is only enough to be used 2.5 times, not even 3 times. Although the cost of a pair of medicinal liquid is only less than 20 gold coins, Wang Chen has not much gold coins left now. According to this configuration, there are no more than 25 pairs of medicinal liquids at most. If the cost of tonic diet is added, Wang Chen may practice for 15 days at most, and the resources will be exhausted. Although the Xiao family will still provide some cultivation resources, 1 medicine bath and 1 tonic diet every month is a drop in the bucket for Wang Chen now. With resource bonuses, Wang Chen was able to rapidly enhance his strength. If it weren't for the assistance of these medicinal baths, Wang Chen might have returned to his original cultivation speed. Having experienced such rapid growth in strength, Wang Chen naturally wouldn't want to return to the original situation. It seems we need to find a way to increase the amount of gold coins. Money is not everything, but without it, it is absolutely impossible. For a world that can be cultivated, this statement is even more accurate. The wealth of the land, those seniors are really not summarizing randomly. Of course, with Wang Qinjin's fingers around, it's very easy to earn money, but it's not easy to ensure absolute safety. Let's take a closer look. If it really doesn't work, then we'll have to take a risk. Covering the bathtub, Wang Chen also made a decision in his heart. After all, Wuhu is now 6 years old and there are not many years left until the day of disaster. If we cannot establish an advantage in the relatively safe early stage and rapidly increase our strength like a snowball, it's unlikely to have such an opportunity again after those demons and monsters come out in the future. However, for now, Wang Chen's resources are still enough to cultivate for only half a month. It's not too late to use up these resources and improve his strength before earning money. After all, the stronger the strength, the greater the ability to cope with risks. Once the follow-up development route was determined, Wang Chen began to take a break. After all, balancing work and rest is the best choice. Especially his golden fingers, each use consumes mental energy. Even after each recovery, there will be a slight increase in soul power. But it also requires sufficient sleep to fully recover. After all, Wang Chen currently does not have soul cultivation techniques. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Practice fighting skills, strength growth explodes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Practice fighting skills, strength growth explodes. The next day, Wang Chen woke up before dawn. Without wasting any time, he went directly to the back mountain where he had previously practiced martial arts. This is also a small technique that Wang Chen has developed over the years. It's easier to cultivate fighting spirit than to directly cultivate it after exercising hard first. And the fighting skills he is currently practicing are also what he learned from the Xiao family before. Of course, that was strengthened. Stone Kick, Enhanced +1, Grade. Xuanjia Low Effect. Significantly enhances leg muscle strength and defense ability, with a chance to directly break the enemy's fighting spirit defense during attacks. Attention! It is best to pair it with a specialized medicinal bath during cultivation, otherwise the power of combat skills cannot be maximized. In addition to the information and cultivation methods of this fighting skill, Wang Chen also gave a medicinal bath recipe as a gift. It's just that Wang Chen can't use it now. A third-grade prescription, Wang Chen doesn't have the financial strength. Fortunately, even without this medicinal bath formula, it does not delay Wang Chen's cultivation. After all, he has just started practicing, and as long as he hasn't reached the advanced level, taking a medicinal bath can only be considered as icing on the cake. After arriving at the exercise site, Wang Chen did not delay his time and quickly started practicing. After using the Golden Finger to strengthen, Wang Chen can be said to have completely mastered the Stone Kick. It's just that the body lacks muscle memory and muscle strengthening. Just like a strongest king playing a trumpet, although the level is very low, the speed of leveling is definitely not comparable to that of a beginner. At such a high altitude, Wang Chen's leg muscles also rapidly strengthened. After practicing for about 2.5 hours, Wang Chen stopped. It's not that he can't hold on anymore, but he understands a truth. Too much is better than too much. Now can be said to be a crucial moment for laying the foundation, and if excessive exercise leaves any hidden damage, it will definitely be a devastating blow. 10 years have already passed, and there is no need to risk leaving any aftereffects to chase after every minute when stepping onto the road. Putting on his coat, Wang Chen rushed straight towards the room. After returning to the room, Wang Chen directly ate the tonic diet prepared before. Of course, it has been strengthened. Having experience with medicinal baths, he directly took 1/3 of it. Although it's not impossible to eat it all, it won't cause any damage to him after being reinforced. But it's very easy to waste. Wang Chen doesn't have any extra money to waste now. After eating 1/3 of the tonic diet, Wang Chen jumped directly into the tub and began to practice quickly. Under the function of Golden Finger, the energy of medicinal bath and tonic diet rapidly increases Wang Chen's fighting spirit and physical quality. As time went by, Wang Chen finally refined the energy of tonic diet and medicated bath. Similar to Wang Chen's previous speculation, not much just now. There was no waste, it maximized Wang Chen's strength. After finishing his cultivation, Wang Chen began to boil medicinal baths again. The previous medicinal bath has been completely absorbed today. It seems like we're going to buy medicinal bath materials again. Wang Chen took out the last set of medicinal bath ingredients and boiled them in the dusty clay pot that had been sealed for 2.5 years. When Wang Chen first awakened his Golden Finger, he only tentatively purchased 2 pairs of drugs. At that time, Wang Chen had never used the Golden Finger, so he could not guarantee its efficacy 100%. Secondly, it is also to avoid being eye-catching. Although this basic drug is quite common in Jiafang City, purchasing too many at once can also easily attract unnecessary attention. The more it is at this moment, the more careful and cautious it is. Wang Chen had read many novels and movies in his past life, and many villains were careless at critical moments, resulting in being overturned by the protagonist. Wang Chen doesn't want to be that foolish villain. Fortunately, a pair of medicinal baths is enough for Wang Chen to use 3 times. Although the energy consumed increases with the growth of strength, there is still no problem sticking to it for a day. After spending several hours, Wang Chen cooked the medicinal bath and then turned off the heat and headed towards the outside market. Without much delay, Wang Chen arrived at a shop opened by the Xiao family with ease and familiarity. 200 gold coins for tonic diet and 6 medicated baths were handed directly to Wang Chen. Although the shop assistant was a little surprised by this matter, he didn't ask much. After all, there are still some descendants of the Xiao family who come to purchase this basic cultivation material. After all, not everyone is Xiao Yan. He has been gifted since childhood and is still the son of the clan leader, so there is no need to worry about the shortage of cultivation materials. Even the elders of the Xiao family who are at odds with Xiao Zhan will not cause trouble here. They are still very aware of how important a growing genius is to the Xiao family. But many people with average talents and no strong background can only work hard on their own. It is quite common to pay for medicinal bath supplies on your own. However, it is generally a purchase of 3 to 5 pairs, and it is relatively rare for someone like Wang Chen to directly purchase 10 pairs at once. After all, although a medicinal bath may not be expensive, it is not cheap to have a large quantity. Those who usually need to purchase goods themselves usually don't have much money. The reason why Wang Chen was able to purchase so many at once is entirely due to the inheritance left by his parents. Otherwise, a 10-year-old teenager might not be able to afford 2 sets of medicinal baths. After receiving the medicine, Wang Chen also returned to his room without looking back. The supplies this time should be enough for me to practice for a few days. Put the things away, and Wang Chen started practicing again. However, the light body movement and fighting skills practiced this time don't need to be practiced in the back mountain, just in your own small courtyard. Of course, this fighting skill is still enhanced by Wang Chen. The grade level is even more intermediate, which is already very sufficient for the current Wang Chen. Shua. 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 In the small courtyard, Wang Chen quickly moved up. Relatively speaking, the speed is very fast, which ordinary fighters cannot match. However, after only practicing for 10 minutes, Wang Chen stopped. The cultivation of catching cicadas in these 8 steps is too exhausting. Wang Chen, who is currently just a 4-dan fighter, can't hold on for long. This is different from a gravel kick, as it doesn't have much exercise effect without fighting. After calming down a bit, Wang Chen began to cultivate again. Of course, this time it's just about exercising the footwork. Although the effect is much worse, the consumption has also decreased significantly. This was also planned by Wang Chen before. First, leave the muscle memory of the footwork behind, and then fully cultivate it when the fighting spirit increases. This way, while not delaying the growth of strength, one can also become slightly familiar with the movement and fighting skills. Quickly, half of the day passed like this. Wang Chen also stopped practicing martial arts and began to prepare to swallow tonic diet to cultivate fighting spirit. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Unexpected Discovery. Najie. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Unexpected Discovery. Najie. In a blink of time, half a month passed. Within this half-month period, Wang Chen's strength can be said to have undergone earth-shattering changes. Directly soaring from the qi of the 3-dan Dou to the qi of the 7-dan Dou. And I also learned an extra fighting skill. A defensive combat technique that increases defensive power. In addition, he also kicked and cultivated the Xuanjie stone to a small level. However, due to the issue of strength and the lack of specialized medicinal bath combinations, the progress of the gravel kick has almost come to an end. If you want to continue growing, you either need to collect specialized medicinal baths or improve your own strength. Improving our strength so much in half a month comes at a cost. That means his financial inventory has been depleted. Of course, this cost is not worth mentioning compared to the growth of one's own strength. But if he wants to continue growing rapidly, he must find ways to earn money. Xiaojia's back mountain. Crushed stone kick. Wang Chen spun 360 degrees in mid-air, and his right heel hit the boulder on which he had been lying. Bang! That not too small big stone was directly smashed in half by Wang Chen's foot. A large amount of gravel is spreading in all directions. However, this did not have any impact on Wang Chen, as his defensive skills could completely block these stones. After kicking and crushing the boulder, Wang Chen made a backflip of 720 degrees and landed smoothly. After taking a deep breath, Wang Chen nodded with satisfaction. With his current attack power, he can definitely say invincible during the Duki stage. Even the average fighter would never be his opponent, unless it's a matchup like fire. But it's not a big problem, he upgraded to a 7-dan fighting aura in half a month. At this speed, you can break through the fighter in at most half a month. It seems that we can only take a risk now. A penny cannot defeat a hero. Wang Chen is in this situation now. He is not hot, he can borrow money from a clan leader's father and a wealthy girlfriend. If you want to purchase resources, you can only think of your own way. But the problem is not too big, his enhanced abilities are not just a decoration. Just use a non-mainstream medicinal herb to strengthen it, and it will be enough for him to cultivate to the level of a Dou. This is also the method he calculated to have the lowest risk. Although the ability to make money is not as good as selling reinforced medicinal baths directly, the risk is greatly reduced. A medicinal bath that can be used for the Doji Chi stage will definitely attract great attention. Wang Chen doesn't have the kind of backstage like Yao Lao right now, he doesn't want to take his own life to waste. Just as Wang Chen was preparing to return to his home and exchange money for a strengthened medicinal herb, his gaze was caught. There seems to be a small object in the center of the boulder that he kicked to pieces. What kind of thing? Wang Chen has been staying in this place for almost a few years and never thought that there would be anything down here. It looks a bit like a ring in shape. Looking at the center of the giant stone, Wang Chen also began to ponder. Suddenly, such an unknown thing appeared. Should we go and take a look? If it were a normal world, Wang Chen would definitely not be entangled. But this is a continent of fighting spirit. Who knows if there will be an immortal, and it's not impossible to give up something. You should know that Xiao Yan's external medicine is old, but he lives in the ring. Based on Xiao Yan's initial situation, it is not impossible for Yao Lao to seize the opportunity. Wang Chen doesn't want to risk his own life. But even if something that could be a treasure appears in front of us without even seeing it, it is indeed impossible for us to do it. And he has been exercising in this place for many years, and if there are any problems, he cannot completely get rid of them. After pondering for a moment, Wang Chen decided to go and take a look. Starving to death, cowardly, holding on to courage. Of course, the main thing is that Wang Chen has golden fingers. As long as you strengthen it with a golden finger at the moment of contact, you can distinguish whether there is a problem or not. If it can be successfully reinforced, then it means there is no problem. Once the reinforcement fails, it indicates that there is really something inside. After confirming, it's also easy to think of countermeasures. It's better than not knowing anything and constantly guessing on your own. Wang Chen quickly adjusted and pretended to be excited about discovering the treasure, approaching directly towards the center of the boulder. Click. Wang Chen quickly shattered the thin layer of the stone wall, and the contents inside appeared in front of Wang Chen. It is indeed a ring. Not big, appearing purple-black. Strengthen. At the moment of contact, Wang Chen directly used his golden finger to enhance his abilities. A spiritual force is directly consumed, and the purple-black ring is wrapped in a stream of light. Success. Wang Chen's mood was also very good when he realized that his ability had been successfully used. This indicates that I have not exposed anything. And after strengthening, Wang Chen also knew what this ring was. It is a storage ring that can be used for storage. Although it was just a low-level ring, for Wang Chen on sight, it was also a treasure that he couldn't afford at all. I originally planned to wait until my strength was strong before obtaining the storage ring. Unexpectedly, the protagonist's standard configuration was delivered to his door by himself. Storage ring, enhanced +1, size. 1000 cubic meters characteristic. After complete refinement, unless the soul realm is 2 great realms higher than the host, it cannot be forcibly cracked. Upon learning about the information about this ring, Wang Chen was also quite excited. With this thing, there will be a place to store the tonic diet he strengthened. This is much safer than hiding in one's own room. There shouldn't be any problems in the short term, but once one exposes their formidable strength, there may be some kind of gentleman coming to visit. Wearing the storage ring, Wang Chen also walked towards the room. After all, he is in great need of resources to rapidly increase his strength now. Among the newly obtained storage ring, there is not much treasure, it is simply a bare storage ring. Wang Chen's initial idea of making a big fortune was dashed. However, getting a storage ring is already considered very good. After all, there are not many people in the Xiao family who can have storage rings. He is just a nobody with little fame. It would be great if he had one. What kind of bicycle would he want? After returning to his room, Wang Chen immediately put his belongings into the storage ring. Not only did they include the remaining 3 medicinal herbs, but they even included the large bathtub. Anyway, his storage space is also so large that it doesn't take up much space to fit in. After careful examination and confirming that there were no omissions, he took out a 10-year-old red blood ginseng, which is roughly equivalent to a 2nd-grade medicinal herb. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Selling red blood ginseng and being targeted. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Selling red blood ginseng and being targeted. This can be considered as a decision made by Wang Chen after careful consideration. 2nd-grade medicinal herbs are not very cheap, and the money sold is completely enough for Wang Chen to cultivate Dou. Moreover, red blood ginseng is mainly used to increase qi and blood, and medicinal herbs with this effect are not uncommon. Even if sold, it won't be too eye-catching. Unlike herbs that can restore the soul, once they appear, they are very likely to cause a sensation. After all, alchemists require drugs that can restore soul power. As long as there is, he will accept it. Now Wang Chen cannot bear this price. After wrapping the red blood ginseng, Wang Chen put on a black robe that covered his whole body and headed towards Jiafang City. He is planning to set up a stall for sale in Jiafang City. Although the shops owned by the Xiao family also accept this medicinal herb, going to the Xiao family's shop is more likely to expose it. And the price is not as good as setting up stalls in the local market for sale. Wang Chen doesn't want to come and sell it again. After all, the more times it is sold, the greater the risk of exposure. Upon arriving in Jiafang City, Wang Chen skillfully paid a gold coin and then obtained the qualification for a temporary street vendor. Then he skillfully drove to the corner of the 3rd market, revealing a corner of the red blood ginseng and starting to sell it. He is not a randomly chosen position. In the past half-month, when purchasing cultivation materials, Wang Chen was not just buying materials. He also spent some time inquiring about the situation in some neighborhoods. Otherwise, he wouldn't have specifically left 2 gold coins behind. Now, even if there are medicines, he may not be qualified to set up a stall for sale. And the corner he chose is also the place where qi and blood medicines are sold the most. Most people who specifically wander in this area want to purchase qi and blood supplies to increase their own strength. Generally, the strength of doji qi is predominant, and the number of fighters is relatively small. Selling at this location is relatively least risky. These are all things that Wang Chen specifically inquired about before. After all, he also knows that he doesn't have much money, and if he wants to quickly grow his strength, he must use drugs to exchange money. Inquiring in advance can also make oneself safer. After setting up the stall, Wang Chen sat silently on the ground without saying a word. Only in this way can we ensure to the maximum extent that we do not expose anything. After waiting for about 5 minutes, someone came to Wang Chen's stall. He reached out and pulled open the black cloth, giving it a slight glance. How do you sell this thing? Wearing a mask, Hao Meng forcefully suppressed her inner excitement and asked questions. As a person who only reaches the 9th level of Qi at the age of 30, Hao Meng's talent can be said to be extremely average. If there were no accidents, one might never be able to break through to the fighter in their lifetime. But with the best of times, Hao Meng, who has been unremarkable for 30 years, has recently turned around. During a recent adventure, he accidentally fell off a cliff. But to his surprise, he not only did not die, but also obtained a martial arts book, a ring, and some gold coins. Those gains had already made him feel like he had the opportunity to challenge the fighter, but now a 10-year-old red blood ginseng plant appeared in front of him. This directly increases his chances of entering the fighter by 10%. Sure enough, I am the protagonist. What I want is coming right away. Thinking of this, the corners of Hao Meng's mouth became even more upward. Fortunately, he was wearing a mask and was not noticed by anyone else, otherwise he would have thought he was a lunatic. 800 gold coins. Wang Chen remained motionless and replied by pinching his throat. This is also the experience he gained from reading novels in his previous life. After all, Xiao Yan exposed himself because of his palm in the beginning. Although Wang Chen wore a pair of black gloves in advance, even with less movement, he could have fewer flaws. Just listening to the voice, the other party can never guess their own situation. 800 gold coins. Upon hearing this price, Hao Meng was also taken aback. It's not that the price is too high, on the contrary, it's slightly lower. A normal second-grade medicinal herb usually costs around 1,000 gold coins. The rarer it is and the more pills it can be paired with, the higher the price. Although 10 years of red blood ginseng is considered relatively inferior among second-grade medicinal herbs, it can increase qi and blood, and slightly strengthen physical fitness. At the same time, those who contribute to the 9-stage impact of Dou Qi are usually worth 1,000 gold coins or more. Moreover, Wang Chen's red blood ginseng plant looks very good. How can this not surprise Hao Meng? But then he regained his senses and spoke up. Sure. After receiving both the money and goods, Wang Chen left directly with the money. He actually knows that his asking price is too low. After all, within half a month, not to mention too detailed information, the general information can still be obtained. Not to mention that he mainly focuses on listening to blood gas drugs. The reason for offering 800 gold coins is also what Wang Chen has considered. Indeed, with the appearance of red blood ginseng, it can also be sold for a price of 1,000 gold coins. But Wang Chen cannot guarantee how much time it will take. The longer the delay, the greater the risk exposed by Wang Chen. Just 200 gold coins, it's not worth Wang Chen taking too much risk. Anyway, with 800 gold coins, it's enough for him to cultivate to the level of a Dou. The stronger the strength, the greater the ability to cope with risks. Therefore, Wang Chen chose to offer 800 gold coins to give the other party an advantage. After all, for Wang Chen, the earlier he sells it, the safer it is. After leaving Fengshe, Wang Chen did not directly return to the Xiao family. Instead, he circled around Wutan City twice before putting away his black gloves and returning through the back door of the Xiao family. Less than 15 minutes after Wang Chen walked into the Xiao family, a figure suddenly appeared at the back door of the Xiao family. The smell is here. Surprisingly, it's from the Xiao family. It seems that I can't have gained anything this time. With a sigh, Hao Meng was also a bit disappointed. He has a special ability, which is a particularly sensitive sense of smell. As long as you remember the scent, within a radius of a few miles, you will never make a mistake. This ability may not be particularly useful in the wild, but it is still quite useful in the neighborhood of this city. Unfortunately, the target this time is the people of the Xiao family. The Xiao family is one of the 3 major families in Wutan City, and that's not just a rumor. A typical lone wolf really doesn't have the courage to trouble the Xiao family. Originally, with red blood ginseng, Hao Meng could go and try to challenge the fighter. But in these 30 years, he has also attempted to challenge several times, without exception, all of them have failed. This has left him with a certain psychological shadow. A red blood ginseng plant only increases the chance by 10%, but it does not guarantee 100% success. Therefore, he came to follow Wang Chen. After all, if a medicinal herb worth 1,000 gold coins is sold directly for 800 gold coins, there are only two possibilities. Either there are too many gold coins, or there are too many medicinal herbs. If there are too many coins, there is no need to sell medicinal herbs in the local market. Therefore, there must be too many medicinal herbs to look up to this red blood ginseng plant. One red blood ginseng plant can increase the chance by 10%. If you obtain several more advanced medicinal herbs, you may be able to enter the Dou player 100%. Hao Meng doesn't have much expectation for her cultivation talent. Therefore, he greedily targeted Wang Chen. In order to be able to enter the arena 100%, he dares to move even the members of the Xiao family. 10 days. If that guy doesn't come out yet, I'll just leave. After standing in place for a while, Hao Meng also made up her mind. After all, the Xiao family is one of the 3 major families in Wutan City, and now he is only suppressing fear with greed. He still doesn't dare to target the Xiao family wholeheartedly. Therefore, he set a deadline for himself. 10 days. As long as that guy comes out within 10 days, he'll take action himself. If you haven't left the Xiao family within 10 days, then give up directly. There is a red blood ginseng plant, which is always more likely than before. After standing for a while, Hao Meng also quietly left and hid nearby. At this moment, Wang Chen had no idea that he had been targeted. Wang Chen, who returned to his room, did not directly cultivate. After all, without the assistance of medicinal baths, the efficiency of cultivation is quite poor. It's better to prepare something else to strengthen and then rest well to increase your soul power. After all, Wang Chen only went out to sell the medicine today. Even though there was no one following him, he still planned to wait for a day. I will buy medicine bath and tonic diet tomorrow. Anyway, I have been practicing hard for half a month continuously, and it doesn't matter if I relax a little for a day. After Mimi rested for a day, Wang Chen went to the local market as usual to buy medicinal baths. I never expected to be targeted by a hungry wolf just as I left the Xiao family. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Artifact. Lime. Counterattack. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Artifact. Lime. Counterattack. Wang Chen went to the Zhao's shop to buy a medicine bath and tonic diet, ignoring the strange eyes of the clerk, and then left the shop directly. After all, in the past half-month, Wang Chen has purchased more than 20 pairs of drugs. This doesn't work even if the salesperson doesn't have a deep memory. Wang Chen also had the intention of disguising himself, but that would make him even more prominent. As for buying from other stores, Wang Chen has no such idea at all. Because the medicinal bath he is currently using belongs to a relatively mediocre type. The price is not too high, it's entirely a path of small profits and high sales. In the entire city of Yutan, only 3 major families sell this basic drug. As for other stores, selling this thing is better than selling magic core. Not only does it have high benefits, but it also occupies limited space. Generally, as long as the brain is not pitted, it is unlikely to sell this basic drug. After all, there are only so many consumer entities. If it weren't for the development of the family, even the 3 major families wouldn't have sold such laborious and unprofitable things. Therefore, if Wang Chen does not purchase from the Xiao family's store, he will have to go to the stores of the other 2 major families. That would be even more abnormal. That's exactly why Wang Chenming knew that this might attract the attention of the store staff, so he had to come to the Xiao family store to buy medicine. Anyway, he's just a buddy. Even if he thinks it strange, he won't talk too much. After leaving Jiafeng City, Wang Chen also began to return to the Xiao family as before, preparing to go and cook medicine bath for cultivation. But shortly after leaving Fengshe, Wang Chen's brow furrowed. Someone is following behind him. Of course, Wang Chen is not 100% certain either. After all, this road is so wide, maybe the other party happens to have this side. So Wang Chen stopped directly and bought 2 snacks on the street. Eating the snack, Wang Chen's mood became less beautiful. Because he is now completely certain that the guy behind him is indeed following him. At that moment, Wang Chen thought of the red blood ginseng being sold. Besides this, Wang Chen really can't recall what else is worth being followed by others. Thinking of this, Wang Chen pretended to be calm and continued walking towards the Xiao family. As for the matter of directly leading the other party to a deserted alley and then arresting them and forcing them to confess, Wang Chen never even thought about it. He is not that kind of rascal. Of course, it's mainly because of his poor strength, otherwise Wang Chen would have gone up recklessly. After all, what brain cells are needed to solve a problem with just one fist? In times of insufficient strength, it is still important to prioritize ensuring one's own safety. After walking for about a few minutes, Wang Chen sensed that the guy he had followed had accelerated. Maz. It seems impossible to return quietly. Sensing this, Wang Chen also understood that it was impossible to pass smoothly. After all, there is still a relatively sparsely populated section on his way back to the Xiao family. Since the other party has already significantly accelerated, it is inevitable that they want to go ahead and block themselves. At this time, Wang Chen was also a bit conflicted. He can either continue walking or return directly now. Returning to the city of Jiafeng, the guy who was following him, no matter how arrogant, would definitely not dare to take action in that place. But only 1,000 days of being a thief, there is no 1,000-day defense against thieves. Running back to Jiafeng City to avoid now not only attracts attention, but also delays cultivation time. While walking as if nothing had happened, Wang Chen pondered in his mind. Kill. After thinking for a moment, Wang Chen decided to do it. At first, he was unwilling to take action, just not wanting to take risks. Since the other party has already pushed themselves to this point, then we can only be furious. After all, in Wang Chen's spiritual perception, the guy who followed him was not even a fighter. And Wang Chen has an added cheat, with combat power comparable to that of a skilled fighter among the fighters. Since that's the case, Wang Chen naturally has no intention of letting the other party go. As long as you can quickly resolve the other party without procrastinating, it will basically not attract attention. Coincidentally, the other party is planning to block themselves in the alley, and I am also planning to ambush the other party there. As for whether the other party has any helpers or not, Wang Chen did not notice. He tends to have none. After all, people are greedy, and discovering treasures will never be shared with others. Of course, Wang Chen will not neglect carelessness. His spiritual power has been secretly sensing ahead, preventing himself from being ambushed by others. Once there is a follower's helper ahead, Wang Chen will definitely not enter the alley. Even if he loses face and may arouse suspicion from others, he wouldn't risk his life. The decision to counterattack this time is also due to the lack of strength of the tracker. If Wang Chen had not sensed the strength of the tracker, he would never have made this decision. After walking for a few more minutes, Wang Chen also arrived at the relatively preferred alley. The tracker had already accelerated to the front, ready to block himself. Although the pursuer never came out, the other party had no secrets under Wang Chen's strong spiritual power and was completely in Wang Chen's field of vision. Realizing that the other party had rushed to the front, Wang Chen's mood also became more relaxed. This indicates that the other party does not have a helper. Otherwise, there's no need to be so troublesome. It's safer to have a front and back pincer attack. Ha! Just as Wang Chen walked into the middle of the alley, the hidden pursuer launched a surprise attack. There is no such antagonistic behavior as jumping out and forcing. Hao Meng, who launched a surprise attack, went all out and didn't leave any hands behind. If it were in the wilderness, he wouldn't mind saying a few more words and letting his opponent die in despair. But now in Yuten City, he launched a surprise attack on a member of the Xiao family. If it delays time and causes trouble, then he will definitely not be able to run. Faced with Hao Meng's surprise attack, Wang Chen's mouth slightly raised and he threw a small cloth bag on the back. Hao Meng was completely perceived by Wang Chen's spiritual power, and of course, it was impossible for him to successfully launch a surprise attack. Wow! Ah! Despicable! Hao Meng's attack collided with a small cloth bag, and a large white area directly enveloped Hao Meng. Then he let out a scream. What Wang Chen threw out was a lime pack, and it was also a reinforced lime pack. During this half-month period, Wang Chen was not just practicing. In situations where his own strength is insufficient and there is no back end, he will naturally be prepared. The lime bag is a divine artifact that a traveler naturally knows very well. After throwing out the lime pack, Wang Chen did not stop either. Take advantage of your illness and take your life. The other party lost their field of vision and also had their eyes burned by lime. Wang Chen used his backhand to directly use the low-level martial arts skills he had practiced during this period, the stone kick. With the blessing of the Qi of 7-section fighting, coupled with Wang Chen's familiarity with this fighting technique, its power naturally cannot be underestimated. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Killing. Harvest Technique. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 Killing. Harvest Technique. Under Wang Chen's control, the fighting energy converged on his right foot, and before Hao Meng could react, he directly kicked the opponent in the chest. Hao Meng, whose eyes were burned with lime, smashed fiercely on the wall of the alley. Not only did it make a moderate sound, but it also splashed dust all over the ground. Hao Meng, who spewed out a mouthful of blood, did not die, but she was also seriously injured. Wang Chen, who landed steadily, leaped out again with a sudden burst of 8 steps to drive cicadas and rushed towards Hao Meng. Without any inquiry, Wang Chen lifted his right foot and used a gravel kick, hitting Hao Meng's head hard. Faced with such a fatal blow, Hao Meng, who had only a 9-dan fighting spirit, naturally had no life to survive. After killing Hao Meng, Wang Chen simply searched and took off the storage ring in the other person's hand, then didn't hesitate to leave. As for how to deal with the body, Wang Chen did not consider it at all. In this kind of Yuten city, there are more corpses every day. There's no need for Wang Chen to handle it, some people have to tidy it up. Ho-hote, after returning to his room, Wang Chen also let out a few deep breaths. Today can be said to be his first murder, although there may not be any nausea or vomiting, his emotions are still very excited. That is to say, it has been 10 years and gone through various things, which has forced me to suppress my emotions outside without exposing any abnormalities. Returning to his personal space, Wang Chen naturally couldn't suppress it. After several minutes of continuous adjustment, Wang Chen completely calmed himself down. Strengthen. Without any delay, Wang Chen directly strengthened the storage ring in his hand. Firstly, it can confirm that the other party has no backhand and also ensure that the guy is absolutely dead. Without any surprises, the enhancement was successful in one go. The strengthened storage ring is not very big, at least it cannot compare to the one Wang Chen obtained in the back mountain. But there are a lot of things in the storage space. Not only the 10-year-old red blood ginseng that Wang Chen sold before, but also a large amount of gold coins. Although he didn't count it carefully, Wang Chen could roughly estimate that there were at least 20,000 or more. And there are also some medicinal herbs. There are about 3 plants of the first grade, while there are dozens of plants that are not included in the product. Even the magic core has 5. Although it is only a first-order magic core. Seeing these things, Wang Chen's mood was also extremely comfortable. He used to sell fortified medicinal herbs in order to cultivate resources. Unexpectedly, this guy with only 9 levels of fighting spirit actually sent the resources he needed directly. Mad. This guy doesn't have any backstage, does he? At this moment, Wang Chen also realized something was wrong. This enemy is really too fat. It's completely different from the wealth that a normal Dou Qi Judan can possess. You should know that even the hype in the original work only leaves a meager 400 gold coins when the cheat is launched. You should know that Xiao Yan is the son of the head of the Xiao family, and in the early stages, he had exceptional talent and received the most resources from the Xiao family. And this average Doji Qi Judan actually has a storage ring and more than 20,000 gold coins. This doesn't seem normal no matter how it looks. Not to mention the other treasures in the storage ring. Forget it. Soldiers come to block, water comes to cover. I have already done it, and there is no way to regret it. We must improve our strength quickly. Looking at these things in the storage ring, Wang Chen also made a decision in his heart. The previous hard cultivation was mainly due to the possible disasters that the Xiao family may encounter in the future, and also for the sake of having carefree strength. Not very urgent. The situation is different now, a guy who doesn't know the background died in his own hands. The other party's back-end can be contacted at any time. If the other party discovers that they don't have enough strength, then there is no safety at all. You must work harder than before. After determining what to do next, Wang Chen no longer wasted time and began to fully inspect the other party's storage ring. See if the other party has any other treasures and if you can use them now. After all, there is an unknown threat, so he is naturally more motivated. Of course, this is also because Wang Chen did not know the specific situation of Hao Meng, otherwise he would definitely not be so eager. But it's normal, after all, no one would have thought that someone really special could fall off a cliff and not die, and could also obtain treasures. Wang Chen naturally thinks more when he sees so many things. Practice. Upon careful inspection, Wang Chen saw an inconspicuous small wooden box hidden next to the gold coin pile in the other party's storage space. It looks very inconspicuous. If it weren't for Wang Chen's careful inspection now, he might have really missed it. After opening the wooden box, Wang Chen saw a scroll directly. 5 big characters appeared in Wang Chen's eyes. 10 beasts transforming spirit technique. Fire attribute. Upon careful examination, Wang Chen became even more excited. Surprisingly, it is a fire attribute cultivation method that perfectly matches him. Not bad, Wang Chen already knows his attributes. On the day when Golden Finger awakened, he already knew. It is precisely the fire attribute, and there is also a hint of wood attribute mixed in. Combined with his powerful soul power, he can be said to be the embryo of an alchemist. Originally, Wang Chen was still conflicted about what to do after breaking through the fighter. After all, he doesn't have a teacher, nor does he have a wealthy girlfriend who can easily come up with cultivation techniques. He wants to obtain cultivation techniques either by searching outside himself or by going to the Xiao family cultivation pavilion to obtain them. Both methods are not very effective. Looking outside, not to mention the scarcity of cultivation methods, how long does it take to find a suitable cultivation method? Wang Chen doesn't even have the funds to purchase martial arts. To search for the Xiao family's martial arts pavilion, one needs to expose one's own cultivation. This is too sensational. Wang Chen doesn't want to be a leading bird for the time being. After all, now Xiao Suner has arrived at the Xiao family, and there is also a guardian of the Soul Hall in the northwest continent. Wang Chen doesn't want to appear in the eyes of those guys right now. After all, Wang Chen's current strength is indeed too poor. However, I never expected that this cultivation technique would be delivered to my door like this. Although it is only a high-level yellow rank, Wang Chen has golden fingers. You only need to strengthen once to become a high-level mystic. For Wang Chen now, the advanced level of Xuanjie is already sufficient. First, improve your strength, and in the future, there will be opportunities to change your cultivation methods. Without hesitation, Wang Chen directly strengthened it again, transforming this yellow level advanced skill into a mysterious level advanced one. After carefully checking and confirming that there were no omissions, Wang Chen transferred the item to his storage ring. Then he began to boil a medicinal bath, ready to continue his asceticism. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Breakthrough Fighter. 100 Beast Spirit Transformation Technique. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Breakthrough Fighter. 100 Beast Spirit Transformation Technique. In a blink of time, another half-month has passed. As a transparent member of the Xiao family, Wang Chen did not receive much attention. Except for the time when he gave a regular family cultivation resource, none of them came to Wang Chen's side. Wang Chen is also very happy about this situation. Without any disturbance, he can quickly cultivate and increase his own strength. With the gift from that kind-hearted person, Wang Chen doesn't have to worry about the issue of cultivation resources at all. If it weren't for that guy's body already gone somewhere, Wang Chen would really want to give him a stick of incense. After all, the other party's help in Wang Chen's cultivation is really too great. If it weren't for the storage ring gifted by that guy, Wang Chen really wouldn't be able to practice so leisurely now. Not only do you not need to consider whether the cultivation resources are sufficient or not, but you also do not need to think about the subsequent cultivation methods. After half a month of practicing with sufficient medication, Wang Chen's strength has once again skyrocketed. From the original 7th stage of Doji Qi to the current 9th stage of Doji Qi. Actually, 3 days ago, Wang Chen had already broken through the 9th level of Dou Qi. If you want, you can always try to condense the cyclone of Dou and break through Dou. However, Wang Chen still thinks it's better to be more stable. After all, if the breakthrough is not successful, it will be a falling point. Wang Chen doesn't want to be too troublesome. Therefore, he spent an extra 3 days practicing, cultivating his fighting spirit to the extreme. After 3 days of hard work, Wang Chen's fighting spirit has almost reached its limit. After all, with a large amount of money as gifts, coupled with the revenge that came at an unknown time, Wang Chen naturally practiced even harder. There are also more materials used than before. Therefore, it is only in such a short period of time that one can cultivate to this extent. Realizing that his fighting spirit had reached its limit, Wang Chen also began preparing to break through. He didn't gather qi to disperse, so if he didn't fall off the stage, he naturally needed to be well prepared and successfully break through at once. Fortunately, Wang Chen has a golden finger plug.in. As long as he prepares some key medicine baths and tonic diet, there should be no problem in breaking through. After a day of preparation, Wang Chen also prepared everything he needed. In order to ensure a breakthrough, Wang Chen also went all out. I have prepared everything to the extreme within my limited conditions. Looking at the purple liquid in the bathtub, Wang Chen nodded in satisfaction. This is the 3rd grade medicine liquid he has strengthened, which can be considered the highest grade he can produce now. After all, he has no tradition of refining medicine and does not know how to refine drugs. After gulping down a tonic diet, Wang Chen jumped directly into the bathtub and began to cultivate and try to condense the cyclone. With Wang Chen's full cultivation, a large amount of energy began to flood into his body crazily. Under Wang Chen's control, the position of his lower abdomen converges and rotates within his body. With Wang Chen's powerful soul power, coupled with all the medicinal bath energy being strengthened by the golden finger, Wang Chen controlled these energies like an arm, without any discomfort. With the rapid influx of energy, Wang Chen's meridians are also filled with a large amount of energy. Fortunately, these energies were completely refined by him and did not impact his meridians. As the energy reached its limit, Wang Chen quickly used his soul power to suppress the fighting spirit in his lower abdomen. Bang! With Wang Chen's ample preparation, the fighter can be said to have made a natural breakthrough. At the moment of breakthrough, Wang Chen once again fiercely devoured the energy in the medicinal bath. The newly formed doji cyclone also quickly spun and swallowed up. It lasted for about 2.5 minutes, and Wang Chen also stopped. It's not that the doji cyclone can't withstand it, but that the energy of the medicinal bath has been absorbed completely. After all, the previous breakthrough consumed a lot, and after becoming a fighter, Wang Chen's absorption efficiency also increased significantly. Even a third-grade medicinal bath can't last long. Of course, it is mainly Wang Chen's Golden Finger awesome. He only needs to consume energy, without expending energy to refine. As long as it can fit in, it can quickly consume energy. Wow! Wang Chen, who jumped up in one fell swoop, didn't care to wipe away his moisture and started checking the changes in his body. After breaking through the fighter, one has the ability to see inside. Previously, Wang Chen had strong soul power, which can be roughly perceived. However, it is not as clear as the inside view. Upon closer inspection, the milky white cyclone in the lower abdomen is about the size of 3 palms, and its rotational speed is slowing down. At the periphery of the cyclone, there is also a circle of dense gas enveloping it. Although the doji cyclone is not very large, the energy and mass contained in it definitely far exceed that of the previous doji cyclone. Although there is only one word difference between the two, it can be said that they are vastly different. The power of Wang Chen's current fighting spirit is definitely more than dozens of strands of the previous 9 Dan fighting spirit. After a simple manipulation of doji cyclone, Wang Chen withdrew his mind. Subsequently, Wang Chen summoned his own Golden Finger panel, intending to carefully observe all of his changes. Although I have checked my mind and inner vision, it is not as intuitive and precise as a Golden Finger. Host. Wang Chen talent. Enhanced abilities attribute. Fire, mixed with a hint of wood attribute, strength. Dou Zhe Yi Xing technique. 100 Beasts transforming spirit technique, enhancement +1, grade. Xian level advanced effect. It can devour hundreds of animal fires to evolve the technique and enhance its power. Every time you devour a type of beast fire, you can increase your spirit and also use the talent of the beast fire itself. Note. Currently, you can refine beast fire by crossing up to 2 major realms of the host. Fighting technique. Stone kick, Xuanjia low. Level, 8 steps to chase cicadas, Xian level intermediate, iron cloth shirt, enhanced +1, grade. Xuanjia low effect. It can significantly enhance the body's defense ability, and when practiced to the extreme, it can be invincible, greatly resisting fighting attacks. As long as you don't attack the shield door, you can reach a higher level of enemy attacks without damage, up to no more than Douhuang, attention. It is necessary to have a specialized medicinal bath to cooperate with cultivation in order to cultivate the mask door to ½ an inch in size. There is no specialized medicinal bath for cultivation, and the door cover is 3.5 inches. Taking a closer look at the attribute panel, Wang Chen's mood was also very good. Not only did he successfully break through the fighter, but he also developed both martial arts and combat skills. Especially the cultivation method, not only solved one of his troubles, but it was also quite unique. With enhanced abilities in hand, Wang Chen believes that the upper limit of this skill will definitely not be lower than the burning technique of fire. Especially the devouring ability, it matches very well with Wang Chen's golden fingers. Compared to the burning technique, Wang Chen prefers this 100 beast spirit transformation technique. After all, the number of abnormal fires is too rare to fully unleash the power of the golden finger. Beast fire is different. No one can say for sure how many Warcraft there are on the Duki continent. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. 6 months of hard work. Get ready to leave the Xiao family. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. 6 months of hard work. Get ready to leave the Xiao family. To put it further down, that would at least be measured in billions of units. Although not all of them are fire attributes, even if you choose 1 out of 10, there are still over 100 million. With such a large quantity, Wang Chen could completely choose the beast fire that he was satisfied with. Not to mention this skill, it can continue to be strengthened and devour more beast fire. Only strengthened once, it changed from the 10 beast transformation spirit technique to the 100 beast transformation spirit technique. It can be said that the growth limit of this cultivation method is very large. Not to mention that this skill is a natural talent that can use the devoured beast fire. This may not sound like much, but Wang Chen is aware of the terror involved. There are many Warcraft talents that are very terrifying, but their own strength is too poor, so they cannot fully unleash their talents. Give a simple example. For example, the poison of a certain Warcraft is extremely terrifying, and even if it is contaminated by Emperor Dou, it will undoubtedly lead to death. But their own strength is only second grade. No matter how terrifying the toxicity is, it is impossible to cause any harm to Emperor Dou. After all, before you attacked, Emperor Dou had already killed you. But if this ability is placed on Wang Chen, it is not something terrifying to describe. After all, Wang Chen can cultivate and his strength can continue to soar. When Wang Chen's strength reaches the level of Emperor Dou, coupled with this terrifying toxin, it's like punching each Emperor Dou. And this is just the most common usage. After all, in the world of Warcraft, there are some Warcraft talents that can be said to be extremely special. Some even the Dou Zun or Dou Sheng may accidentally capsize in the sewer. Not to mention that Wang Chen still has golden fingers. After strengthening, he can also enhance those talents. Assigning this skill to Wang Chen can be said to be like adding wings to a tiger. Although there is still a limitation to this martial art, it is not considered a limitation for Wang Chen at all. After all, Wang Chen has a golden finger, and with just one enhancement, he can completely refine beast fire. There is no need for the cultivation method itself to refine. The cultivation only requires direct devouring and strengthening. To put it bluntly, Wang Chen's current strength is not good and he doesn't have much capital yet. Otherwise, you can directly obtain a 7th level beast fire, and maybe you can quickly break through with the energy in the beast fire. Of course, the prerequisite is that Wang Chen can obtain the beast fire and completely consume it before the energy dissipates. After all, once devoured, the energy in the beast fire will begin to dissipate. If it cannot be completely consumed within a certain period of time, that energy will dissipate in this world. After carefully observing the changes in his own strength, Wang Chen was also satisfied and closed the attribute panel. He used his fighting spirit to dry the moisture on his body surface and then headed towards the back mountain. After all, even though he has broken through the fighter, he still wants to know how much the power of his fighting skills has increased. This is very important. Not clear about the specific situation of one's own attack, once encountering any battle, it can be very dangerous. In a blink of time, 2.5 more days passed. After 2.5 days, Wang Chen also gained a clear understanding of his own strength. And he also purchased about 1,000 gold coins of supplies within these 2.5 days. This time, he did not go to the Xiao family store to make a purchase. But I went directly to the stalls in the neighborhood to Taobao. After all, he has already surpassed the doubler, and continuing to use the most basic medicinal bath will definitely not be as effective as before. Since he already has money, he naturally doesn't mind spending a few more money to improve his strength. Only in this way can we justify the gift from that unknown good person. Although Wang Chen does not know how to refine medicine, it is not a problem to develop 1 or 2 more advanced medicinal bath formulas. In the martial arts pavilion of the Xiao family, there are still some slightly more advanced medicinal bath formulas. This can also be considered as a little hope that the Xiao family has given to their descendants. As long as you can collect materials to assist your cultivation, there is still no problem. This kind of thing is also a good thing for the Xiao family. After all, if the strength of the clan members is strong, they can also drive the family. Anyway, there's no need for the family to provide supplies. A few pairs of medicinal bath formulas can be said to have no cost. The Xiao family naturally doesn't mind doing such a great good thing that benefits without cost. In fact, not only the Xiao family, but also the other two major families in Wutan City, and even the vast majority of families in Duki continent, have done so. A few first-grade medicinal bath formulas are not as precious as elixirs, and belong to things that can be reused multiple times. That's why Wang Chen also gained 3 relatively useful first-grade medicinal bath formulas. This type of imported medicinal bath formula naturally does not have the same basic ingredients as non-imported drugs. For this medicinal bath formula material that can be used by fighters, the Xiao family naturally will not sell it in large quantities. Most of them are used to cultivate talented fighters in the family. Therefore, the Xiao family store naturally does not have this material. Otherwise, Wang Chen wouldn't have wasted time and went to the street stall to taobao. Fortunately, the 3 medicinal bath formulas chosen by Wang Chen all use relatively ordinary first-grade medicinal herbs. Yutan City happens to be close to the Warcraft mountains, and there are still some low-grade medicinal herbs available. However, street vendors usually sell whatever they have, and there is no need to sell a certain medicinal herb in large quantities. Therefore, Wang Chen spent nearly a day strolling around Jiafang City and purchased about 1,000 gold coins of medicinal herbs. If there weren't only so many medicinal herbs, Wang Chen wouldn't mind buying a few thousand gold coins more. However, it doesn't matter. The material of 1,000 gold coins is enough for Wang Chen to practice for a period of time. After purchasing 1,000 gold coins of medicinal herbs, Wang Chen once again devoted himself wholeheartedly to cultivation. Basically, they practice fighting skills in the morning and fighting qi in the afternoon. At night, it's time to rest well, recover and enhance one's soul power. That's why Wang Chen also increasingly wanted to obtain the soul technique. Without soul cultivation, he can only restore his soul power through sleep. Once Wang Chen possesses the soul technique, he can save at least half of his rest time. If these times were used for cultivation, Wang Chen's cultivation progress would be even more terrifying. Unfortunately, soul cultivation is too rare. Wang Chen cannot refine medicine now, and there is no way to obtain soul cultivation. Time passed by bit, and Wang Chen's daily routine was very regular. Either cultivating to increase strength, or sleeping to restore soul power. Every 2 weeks, I go to Jiafang to stroll around and purchase the materials necessary for my cultivation. In these days, Wang Chen spent half a year, and his own strength also came to Doshi Jiuxing. It seems like we should leave now. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Enter the Warcraft Mountains. First time. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Enter the Warcraft Mountains. First time. Wang Chen calmed down his fighting spirit and stopped practicing. In half a year, I have broken through from 1 star of Dou to 9 stars of Doshi, and the progress of my cultivation is not bad. But for Wang Chen, the progress of this cultivation is a bit slow. According to his conditions, the cultivation progress should have been faster. Unfortunately, the issue of resources has been troubling him all along. After all, the auxiliary cultivation medicine bath he is currently using is only a single-grade medicine bath. The main materials required for this grade of medicinal bath are neither too expensive nor too cheap. Therefore, there is naturally no formation of such specialty stores. If Wang Chen wants to obtain materials, he can only search for them one by one on his own. This naturally wasted a lot of time. As for asking the auction house to help collect materials, Wang Chen has also considered it. But in the end, I decided to give up. After all, once you go to the auction house to collect, the price will be completely different. And it will also be directly exposed to the city of Yutan, attracting the attention of others. Moreover, Wang Chen's wealth is not significant, and the auction house may not necessarily accept such commissions. After all, the profit is not high, and it is also very time-consuming. It is precisely for these reasons that Wang Chen chose to collect materials on his own. In this way, it naturally slowed down his cultivation progress. Therefore, Wang Chen naturally prepared to make a move. Continuing to stay in Yutun City, the progress of cultivation cannot be accelerated. In addition, the past 6 months have also consumed a considerable amount of gold coins. The gift from the kind-hearted person back then has now consumed one. Third. If we continue like this, sooner or later we will be empty-handed. The most important point is the issue of animal fire. For a whole 6 months, Wang Chen's martial arts have not yet absorbed and devoured a beast fire. This is not that Wang Chen doesn't want to devour it, but rather that there is none. Beast fire is not like magic core, it cannot be used as hard currency at all. Moreover, collecting is troublesome and may not necessarily lead to selling. Low-level animal fire is basically non-existent in the market. As for the beast fire above the 3rd grade, let's not say whether Wang Chen can afford it or not, and it is basically impossible for small places like Wutan City to appear. In this way, Wang Chen has naturally achieved nothing in the past 6 months. Continuing to stay in Wutan City is already detrimental to Wang Chen's growth. Wang Chen naturally prepared to take a break outside. After all, he is at least a dosher Jiuxing now and has a super strong cheat. The martial arts are good, and there are also various combat skills, as well as many special items specially prepared. Go explore the outskirts of the Warcraft mountains, and Wang Chen thinks there shouldn't be any problem. After all, those mercenaries who lick blood with their swords, even at the level of fighters, dare to go to the Warcraft mountains to fight. Wang Chen is a master of martial arts with 9 stars, so there shouldn't be too much risk in going to the outskirts of the Warcraft mountain range. And it's not far from Yutun City, so he can also escape back to Yutun City if there are any problems. With so many guarantees, if Wang Chen still dares not venture outside the Warcraft mountain range, there is no need to cultivate. After spending a day, Wang Chen tidied up everything and quietly left the Xiao family. 2 hours later, disguised Wang Chen arrived in Wuzhen. This small town is an affiliated town of Yutun City, and can be considered the human town closest to the Warcraft mountains within 100 miles. Because it is backed by the Warcraft mountains, it can be said to be quite bustling here. A large number of mercenaries who wanted to go to the Warcraft mountains to make a fortune, as well as various merchants who wanted to buy low and sell high, promoted the prosperity of this small town. Wang Chen took a simple look and headed straight towards the Warcraft mountain range. When he left the city of Yutun, he prepared all the necessary supplies for survival. I have no intention of becoming a scapegoat in Wuzhen. As for finding a mercenary group to join like Wuhu, he has no such idea at all. He has already become a dosher Jiuxing, joining those dosher mercenary groups is a complete waste of time. Not only does it have little effect on Wang Chen, but it is actually a drag. As for the mercenary groups at the dosher level, let's not mention that there are only 4 mercenary groups at this level, and they generally do not enter the Warcraft mountains randomly outside of the plan. Moreover, if an unfamiliar fighter suddenly joins, they may not necessarily trust you. Not to mention the mercenary groups at the level of dosher, they are mostly related to the 3 major families in Yutun City. Once joining the mercenary group, it is equivalent to being exposed to the eyes of the 3 major families. At that time, we will definitely come to investigate Wang Chen. After all, they were not sure what Wang Chen meant, whether it was an outpost arranged by forces from other places who came to Wutan City to grab benefits. Specially disguised as an outpost to go to the Warcraft mountains, Wang Chen naturally did not want to be exposed. Therefore, I am not prepared to go too far and expose myself to the eyes of the 3 major families. Anyway, with his current strength and his previous preparations, exploring the outskirts of the Warcraft mountains is definitely not a problem. After all, his goal this time is not big either. Just collect some cultivation resources, kill a few monsters, and absorb a few beast fires at the same time. He is very envious of the special ability of the beast transformation spirit technique. There was no chance before, but now that Wang Chen has the strength, he naturally needs to absorb a few beast fires. In the silent forest, Wang Chen cautiously walked forward. He not only sees and hears from all directions, but also his soul perception ability is always on. Beware of potential Warcraft attacks. It is necessary to be vigilant when entering the Warcraft mountains for the first time. There is only one small life, and Wang Chen has no intention of joking about it. Even though it was just the outskirts of the Warcraft mountains and he had already become a master of the 9 stars, Wang Chen remained fully focused. Be cautious and keep a few extra thoughts, this is the survival rule of the weak. Wang Chen also thought so. Therefore, even if the consumption is greater, he still needs to activate the perception of soul power. Fortunately, after more than half a year of growth and recovery, his soul power is now even stronger. This level of perception can still be sustained. Bang! Just as Wang Chen passed by a big tree, the short blade of his right hand suddenly shot diagonally upwards. Shoo! Bang! The short blade directly hit a small snake in mid-air and nailed it to a tree. Finally encountered the first Warcraft. When Wang Chen watched the little snake being nailed down and unable to move, his mood was also stirred. Traveling through this world, this is still the first time. Finally, it's time to start eating. Even before he had walked over, Wang Chen had already sensed this monster. Therefore, during the Warcraft raid, Wang Chen had already taken action. Nail it directly onto the tree. Looking at the snake, which was less than half a meter tall, Wang Chen didn't show any mercy. He directly took out a dagger from the storage ring and threw it to kill it. After confirming that the little snake had lost its breath, Wang Chen walked over. This is not that Wang Chen is timid, but rather cautious. Because this little snake is not an ordinary Warcraft. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Alien Red Flame Snake. Confrontation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Alien Red Flame Snake. Confrontation. Although less than half a meter in length, it is extremely terrifying. Ink snake, short body, highly poisonous. During his previous cultivation, Wang Chen also specifically went to read books. Especially the intelligence about the Warcraft mountains. Although the ink snake is only a first-order Warcraft, it is still quite famous for its terrifying and venomous nature, which can even kill a Big Dipper if bitten. Even the Big Dipper was bitten to death, and Wang Chen only had the strength of the 9-star Dipper. He didn't want to give his life a try. Therefore, it will be killed remotely. Using a short blade, he poked open the head of the ink snake, then shook his head and left directly. However, it is also normal, after all, first-order Warcraft may not necessarily have a magic core. It is normal to only kill one level 1 Warcraft without producing a magic core. After all, he is not the protagonist either, and it is understandable that he does not have the treatment of a protagonist. After packing up everything, he continued to explore other places. After all, it's normal to have only just entered the Warcraft mountains and not make many discoveries. Wang Chen was not discouraged, but instead became even more energetic. Bang! Bang! In the uninhabited forest, a black panther was shot away by someone. The figure did not hesitate, but exploded and rushed towards the black panther, killing her with a single shot. This person is Wang Chen. As we delve deeper into the outskirts of the Warcraft mountains, the number of Warcraft also increases. Within less than 2 hours of entering the outskirts of the Warcraft mountains, Wang Chen encountered 4 surprise attacks. Fortunately, Wang Chen's strength was strong and he killed those Warcraft beasts 4 times. But I don't know if I haven't worshipped the god of wealth and haven't obtained the magic core 4 times. There is also a second-order Warcraft among them. And this Black Panther was Wang Chen's 5th surprise attack. also a second-level Warcraft. Sleeping slot. Finally opened. I didn't have much hope at first, just a routine inspection, but I never expected it to be shipped. A second-level Black Panther Demon Core appeared in Wang Chen's hand. After taking a closer look, Wang Chen included it in the storage ring. After all, now we are in the Warcraft Mountains and there is no extra time to watch a magic core. Even if this magic core is the first one that Wang Chen personally harvested after crossing into this world. After collecting the magic core, Wang Chen continued to investigate. He didn't do it for the magic core this time. Although some cultivation materials have been collected, not a single beast fire has been collected. But it's normal, after all, he only killed 5 Warcraft, and it's understandable without beast fire. Near a small hill, Wang Chen stopped in his tracks. Because he had already noticed something very ordinary. There is a chill emanating from the vicinity of this hill, and there is no living creature around. This is quite abnormal. There aren't too many Warcraft to understand, but there aren't even any bugs or birds, which is too abnormal. The Warcraft Mountains are the world of Warcraft. If there is no life in an area, it means it is the territory of a certain beast. Only the strong aura of Warcraft can intimidate those low-level beasts. For this unusual situation, Wang Chen naturally had no intention of confronting it head-on. Just jot down this coordinate and plan to explore it again after your own strength is strong. Then I prepared to leave here and explore the outskirts of the Warcraft Mountains in other directions. Slot. Just as Wang Chen was about to leave, a gust of evil wind attacked from behind. There was no time to turn around and watch, so Wang Chen instinctively used the gravel kick, which turned around and gave him a kick. Touch. Wang Chen's right foot collided directly with a snake's tail, causing a stalemate of strength between the two. Ha! Once again, the fighting spirit erupted, and Wang Chen pushed his right foot against the snake's tail and landed backwards. At this moment, Wang Chen also saw the attackers. A snake about 10 meters long. The whole body is red with a large amount of white mixed in, and the head is triangular, making it relatively slim overall. Red flame snake. No. It's not an ordinary red flame snake, it should be a mutated special Warcraft. After just a few glances, Wang Chen's eyebrows furrowed. Whether from one's own observation or the cold and numb sensation in the right foot, it fully demonstrates that the red inflamed snake in front of me is not simple. Originally, red flame snakes were considered the overlords on the outskirts of the Warcraft Mountains, and as adults, they were able to grow to the 3rd level. This special variant is likely to be a dangerous presence in the 3rd stage. Even Wang Chen found it very tricky to reach a higher level and be a special mutated Warcraft. Fortunately, I didn't go inside the small hill to investigate before, otherwise it might have been really dangerous this time. At this moment, Wang Chen also exclaimed for luck. If he entered that special cold and gloomy hill and the mutated red flame snake took over the territory, he would probably find it even more difficult to deal with. Although the mutated red flame snake was very dangerous, Wang Chen was not frightened either. After all, he is a man with cheats, and this time he is fully prepared. It's just a 3rd order mutated red flame snake, even if you can't win, running away is not a big problem. Taking out a small bag from the storage ring, Wang Chen held it tightly in his hand. The triangular eyes of the red flame snake were fixed on Wang Chen, trying to find a loophole and take down the human who dared to invade his territory. The previous confrontation also made the red flame snake feel Wang Chen's fighting power, otherwise it wouldn't have wasted time and had already charged forward. Wang Chen's eyes were also fixed on the mutated red flame snake. He is very clear that at this time, one must not show timidity. Once timid, it is inevitable that one cannot walk away safely. Wang Chen held a short blade in his left hand and a special small bag in his right hand. At the same time, a wisp of spiritual power was also released. Once the red flame snake attacked, it would immediately retract its short blade and remove the long spear from the storage space. After all, 1 inch long is 1 inch strong, and 1 inch short is 1 inch safe. Faced with the poisonous and terrifying mutated red flame snake, Wang Chen still doesn't want to take too much risk. The reason why I haven't taken out my spear now is because I don't want to stimulate this Warcraft too much. Even if it's possible to kill the opponent, Wang Chen thinks it's best to walk away safely. He has already taken note of this place, and can definitely wait until his strength is strong before dealing with this mutated monster. With Wang Chen's cultivation speed, he doesn't think it will take long. Hiss, hiss. After waiting for a moment, the mutated red flame snake finally couldn't resist. After all, it's just a third-order Warcraft, and its spiritual intelligence is not very high. Most people still follow instinctual actions. Shwa. Seeing the mutated red flame snake charging towards him, Wang Chen threw out a small bag and then took out his spear. Although he wants to wait until later to deal with this monster, it doesn't mean that Wang Chen is afraid. Even if the mutated red flame snake doesn't intend to let itself go, Wang Chen doesn't mind killing the other party now. You can also go to that special hill to check it out, maybe there are some unexpected gains. End of this chapter.